Welcome back to another episode of the DEVpreneur. In this
Back.
episode,
Great.
Tom and I are going to talk about what we have been working on over the past couple of weeks, because it's been a couple of weeks since the last episode. For me, that's going to be working on building and launching a landing page as well as a wait list for an application I'm building called Clientelify. And for Tom, I think it's going to be the course content he's working on, but he can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. So over the last kind of, I guess like 3 weeks, I've been working on building out a landing page for an application called Clientelify. It is a software as a service application, and it's for basically scheduling text and email reminders for appointment-based businesses. On top of that, I've just been kind of trying to get healthy as well, to be honest, because I was super sick for a while. I'm finally kind of coming over that, which is nice. But yeah, we can dive into it a little more after Tom talks about what he's going to talk about in this episode.
So meta.
That's right. And why I decided to go with a wait list and launch that first instead of just launching the entire application when that's ready. Because there were a couple of reasons for doing it that way. Tom, what about you?
Okay. So I was, as you said, working on a course. So I own the domain now, microsaasfounder.com.
Okay. Yep.
I'm trying my hands at building a course, monetizing that.
Yep.
So over the past few weeks, have been recording a course called How to Find SaaS Ideas. Now, So I've built an entire sales funnel around it. I put like videos and talking about my why, so the why, how, and the what. So it's around it's called the $1 a day strategy. I'm gonna see if that works, and if it doesn't seem to work, I'm going to give myself a timeline of like trying to advertise for, I don't know, maybe a month with this thing to see if anybody bites to buy a course on how to find SaaS ideas. And if not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch that over, use that as a free lead magnet. So a free course on how to find SaaS ideas. And then I'm going to start building, marketing for developers, because I feel like that's a lot more. And you kind of mentioned it too, right? Like you're like, yeah, it's more interesting. Like what I would want is what you'd want is like marketing, right? Just like how to do it, just like for people who are just like completely new to it type of thing. And it's actually interesting. What I'm noticing is that, so part of the $1 a day strategies, you have like a 3x3 grid. By Dennis, he's a super smart guy. So the top 3 videos are your why. So why are you doing this? What's the emotional side of it? And the second is how. So you talk about, how to actually get started with it, or how to get started with SaaS. And then third is the what, which is the like, oh, by the way, I have a course, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And then what I'm noticing is that the videos that talk specifically about marketing are the ones that actually get shared and liked and people actually watch more of, which I find really interesting, right? So I'm like, okay, well, that's probably what's got to be, right? Like it's maybe I'll put together a course on like SEO, getting started with SEO and with paid ads type of thing, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I am. And so now I'm building YouTube videos for Vocalmatic. And
so your course is, tell people the name of the platform you're using, why you decided to use that instead of build your own solution.
So I was debating between 3. So one was Teachable, one was Thinkific, and the other one was Podia. The thing that got me with Podia was that there's like no transaction fees. So, you're going to connect your Stripe account or your PayPal account, and they don't take any cut. It's just whatever the credit card charge thing is. So I decided to just go with Podia because, first of all, it was like nice and it was like very clean.
Yeah. Do they charge you monthly? Is that how they do it?
Yeah, they charge you monthly. So it's like $39 US for like the first plan, and then the second plan is like $79 US. It's a bit hefty, but like, if you price your course right and you make a sale, then whatever, you're good. But so I decided with Podia. It was very quick to get set up with it. So yeah. Instead of building my own, it would take too long because I was already recording all these videos going all over the place type of thing. So I was like, might as well just pay for it.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
so how did you decide on what exactly you were going to cover in the videos and kind of length, like how long the course and the videos should be?
So the biggest thing that I learned was that people don't buy courses based off of, how much content is in there, right? What they're
I agree with
buying,
that. Yeah.
yeah, what they're buying is an outcome, right?
Okay.
So I let that kind of dictate what I was like recording. So it was like, okay, so if I were to do one technique and it really only shows, or it really only takes 5 minutes to show you something,
Yeah, it's
then
better that you only take 5 minutes instead of 20 and stretch it out 100%.
yeah. So 20, like 5 minutes, and also got to consider that these are busy people, and
Yeah.
then that they just want actionable things, right? Like they just want like, okay, like this is how you do so and so. Show it to
Yeah.
me as quick as possible so I can go ahead and switch a tab and go ahead and start doing that thing myself.
Gotcha. 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 That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So just I don't know. I didn't obsess too long on how long it took. So
Yeah.
like I think the course is like half an hour or something like that, right? But like my hunch was that you'll get something out of it, and you get something like you can apply immediately, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Cool. All right. I'll jump into, I guess, kind of what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. I've already touched on it.
Yeah.
So I have been designing, building, and shortly releasing a landing page for Clientelify, which, as I mentioned, is appointment-based text and email reminders. Well, email and text reminders for appointment-based businesses. The reason I'm launching just kind of the landing pages first is it helps warm up the Google indexing. So that's one thing. Another thing is I can start sharing content and building links after I launch the landing page. And it also makes it easier to set up meetings if I want to go talk to optometrists or dentists or really any other appointment-based business, because it makes it look more legitimate. So I did that. And the cool thing I did in building and launching the landing pages for the application is I like building in Rails for the projects I do myself. It's my favorite backend framework. And so the blog portion and all of the infrastructure setup for AWS was built into two separate Ruby gems. So the next time I go to release a project, I can include the Ruby gem Terraboy, which is what I called the Terraform Ruby gem. And it will just set up all of my staging and production infrastructure, and it will scale well. So unless it gets super, super big, I just shouldn't really ever have to alter my infrastructure again. And you also just get production and staging infrastructure out of the box, and it's identical, which is nice. So I thought that was cool. It's kind of, I spent an extra maybe 50% of time to never really have to do it again. Although I'm sure I'll have to kind of like tinker with it and update it as I go. And then the same for the blog. I was kind of like, well, I mean, I've used third-party blog functionality. I've built my own. I always kind of want about the same thing. And I want to style it differently and whatever. But in terms of functionality, I know what I like. So I kind of just thought I'll build an engine for that in a Rails Ruby gem. And so I did that. So that is almost done as well. I released both of them, I guess, just under an MIT license. So I'll post links to both of them. The Terraform one actually has been downloaded almost 1,000 times already.
That's really cool.
It's been out for like a week and a half. Presumably just because it has Terraform and infrastructure and AWS keywords in it. I don't know. Or maybe because people really like it. I hope it's because people like it, but I don't think I'm that naive. But it does work, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. And I'm going to be doing that with actually most of the functionality I use in this application. So for the text and email reminder part, I probably will open source a fair amount of that under a Ruby gem. Just in case I want to use similar functionality in another project, really.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I'll link to it in the description to this video, both the landing page prototype and the 2 Ruby gems I mentioned. Yeah. But yeah, just kind of gearing up to get ready to market and talk to business owners to make sure they like what I'm building, and if they don't, what they actually would pay for.
Right. Cool. Would you Um, so you have landing pages. Would you? And I guess the initial strategy is going to be around just going around and talking to business owners, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do basically two things. Well, so I'm going to be doing, I guess, three things like right out of the gate. So the first and most important thing I'm going to be doing is talking to real businesses. I've already done a tiny bit of that. And it was also nice that the application I'm building is very similar to a bunch of other ones in the market that are profitable. So I know there's a real need. I'm not kind of doing a blue ocean strategy. I'm just kind of trying to take a piece of the pie of something that already exists.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little less scary and a little easier to know what to build. But yes, so the most important thing I'm going to be doing is talking to owners of appointment-based businesses like dentists, massage therapists, optometrists, whatever. And just kind of trying to figure out what they do and don't like about the product, what they feel it's missing, maybe what's not super intuitive, and why they would or wouldn't pay. And it might also give me a good idea if I decide to pivot the product into something else, what people really want. I have a feeling a lot of them are going to bring up digital marketing. So like if there's enough demand for that, maybe I decide to pivot into something industry specific. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to be doing, which is probably the second most important thing, is actually building out the application. I've designed the prototype. I've built most of the landing pages now, but I haven't actually built the functionality to send emails and texts when they're scheduled yet. I know how I want to build it. I haven't done it yet. So that'll take me a little bit. And then the third thing, which is also super important, is I'm going to be doing various things to just kind of like spread Clientelify across the web. So I'm going to be trying to do, I'm going to try and do 10 guest blog posts. So a guest blog post, for people who don't know, is when you write content for someone else's blog. And typically they will then allow you to link back to your own application or website or whatever near the top of that post. Like, I guess kind of as a win-win for both parties, because by linking back, it helps boost your site's rank. But you're also providing content for them. Because usually the sites that allow you to guest post, they get a lot of traffic just from content.
Right.
So I'm going to do that. And just kind of try and, I guess, get mentioned wherever I think I can, just organically. Like the university I went to has a list of startups by alumni.
Cool.
So when I feel the site is ready to be on there, I'll try and get on there as well.
Awesome.
And I'm also just going to, yeah. And then I'm also going to just list it in places like beta list, which there's a lead time for, but I'll be registering it on beta list as soon as the landing page is deployed. And sites like that.
This is exciting. It's like the initial launch part. There's always a certain high to getting it out there and getting it ready and launching something.
You know what?
It's just kind of scary, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I just feel like I've seen it and read enough about it and been around it long enough that, like, I know the idea, like, quite frankly, which is why I like the idea, because it's like simple and I know it's real. There's a real, I guess, business need. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But it's not a super sexy idea. It's not like super innovative, really. It's not using some sort of super hyped up technology like blockchain. So I don't think it's going to do super, super well on a lot of the listing sites. I'm sure it'll do okay, and the landing page is pretty and all of the stuff that kind of helps. It's all there. But I'm kind of just expecting it to take a couple months to build up substantial traffic, like a lot of slogging through blog articles and like maybe some broken link building or getting added to resource pages or doing random interviews or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of just cold emailing and then cold calling for people who want to kind of just give me feedback on the idea. It's just going to be boring and a lot of work, I think. But that's okay. It's just kind of, that's what it needs to be.
Yeah, no, but like that's exciting too. I mean, I
am excited about that part.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know. There's fun in the grind stuff, right? Because it's like, you know that you're going to be putting in all this time to get things going. It's like a fire, they're just trying to start a fire type of thing, and then once it starts going, and then it's just like fired. get a beer and hang out and watch the fire kind of grow, maybe throw a log in or something, right? But
the goal for me is to get to I'd like to get to, I think my number is 3,000 a month. That's about my burn rate. Just so it takes the pressure off. And so I'd love to grow it a lot bigger than that, obviously. Like I'd like to get to 10, 20, 30,000 a month.
Yeah.
But it takes the immediate pressure off at 3.
I see.
And so I can kind of decide, okay, do I want to continue pouring all my time into trying to grow this, or do I want to start a second thing and grow that as well? So that's kind of my number for that decision.
Man, I'm getting amped up for you. You'll definitely get
I'm excited. I'm excited. I think I will too, although I don't know if this is going to be the one that gets there. I think it totally could, though. There's totally enough demand for this product, just based on businesses that are already there and initial feedback.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is it's relatively simple from a tech perspective. So I can spend, because like so much of the time you spend has to be like sales, marketing, support, whatever, like not actually building functionality, which is something I was naive about at first. That like so little of your time is spent on actually building out new features.
Yeah.
If you're running something as a small business and you're kind of doing everything. And so the nice thing about it being a simple idea in an industry where people are way behind, like healthcare, dentists, whatever, like a lot of them barely use software and their software sucks. A lot of it's still paper in a lot of those places. Is there still huge demand, but at the same time, you have more time to focus on growth and whatever.
Right.
So by doing a couple fairly simple things like being HIPAA compliant, I can get into those places that are kind of 10, 20 years behind with a product that is relatively simple.
Yeah. Totally.
Which is also a good type of product to have as someone who's kind of, I have 7 other people that are helping on this, but I'm the only one who's full-time. So like, I guess running a company with one full-time employee, you kind of have to be conscious of where you're spending your time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's a blank slate every day, and you just gotta decide on what you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add, but I think I like this format for our podcast, just because, I mean, it's nice for us to talk about and kind of regurgitate stuff we've read from people more talented and famous than us. But I feel like it's nice to kind of just listen to people going through something similar as you, trying to build something, trying to launch something, trying to get traffic, instead of just waiting to share what they know after they've already done it.
I see. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I like this format too. It's now it's a lot more conversational, like a lot more conversational. It's not like topic. It's just like a very high level topic type of thing. So it's like what we're working on, what you're working on. It's kind of like a stand up, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it is a stand up.
Which is pretty cool.
In a sense, it's a stand up with like more explaining.
Yeah. Or, like how most half an hour stand ups. Here's what I did yesterday and what I had for lunch yesterday as well. I'm joking. But yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm on my own, I don't have stand up. So maybe this will be good for me.
It'll kind of keep you accountable to whoever's watching and yourself and me, I guess. That means anything. But totally.
Yeah, next week I can the landing page will be live, so I'll be able to share that.
Cool. Yeah, share that. Maybe talk about any statistics that come in. So
yeah, I will for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to, what episode are we on now?
No clue. Maybe we should just stop saying numbers.
Yeah, I think we should. Thanks for tuning into this episode.
Yeah, there you go.
And now that I can talk again, I guess we'll have another one coming out next week.
Sounds great.
Perfect. All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Oh no.